Vinny Goodwill. Man, you've never looked better than you do today. You've never looked better today than you do today. You haven't spoken yet, but you've never sounded better than you will sound today, because I think it might be the atmosphere. I think it might be the environment. How's Boston treating you so far, Vinny?
Oh, I was going to say something really mean, but man, I'm trying to be nice. Today is game one of the NBA Finals.
Yes,
game one is what I like to call it's called the courting period, right? We're not going into a full-blown dance yet. They're just courting. So right now, as far as Boston, I'm fine. I'm fine. I haven't gotten accosted by any fans yet, although that could happen tonight.
There's time.
It's time. It's plenty of time. It's plenty of time. I've had plenty of experiences in Boston. I actually saw someone get put to sleep last night in a bar.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Wait, I was gonna move on to something else, but so Vinny Goodwill walks into a bar. Vinny Goodwill and two guys walk into a bar. ... Now, what happened? Tell us the story.
I didn't see it. I just happened to look out the window and saw a dude snoring. I'm like, Is he dead? And then I saw his stomach like going in and out. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's still alive. And then there's a security guard who looked like he could have been Lucky, the leprechaun, that made a statement about, hey, man, don't, I told you about acting up. So,
that's right. Hey, it could have been. A lot of people got dual hustles here. So, Lucky the leprechaun.
I thought every
tonight.
Boston bar was Cheers, to be perfectly honest. This was not Cheers.
No, Cheers is just a tourist trap. Nobody ever got put to sleep at Cheers. It was just like Sam there, everybody walking in, here comes hey, everybody knows your name and it's good. That's not really Boston. And you walk in, they were like, whatever. They might give you the double barrel, double birds. A little saltier language like you'll find in TD Garden tonight. It's nothing like Cheers. Woj throwing it out there that the Lakers are targeting Dan Hurley as their head coach. Now, just when you think you know all the answers, something in life just comes to say, you got to humble yourself just a little bit, not so fast, because I was just convinced, I was amused, I'd laugh every day. When I would hear and see the Mind the Game podcast, that's J.J. Redick and LeBron James, I would just laugh at that thing. I'd be like, man, this is a political campaign masquerading as a podcast. There is so much shade. There's so much shade going on here. There's so much subtweeting going on here, manipulation, steering, everything that both of them say. They ain't really saying what they're saying. There's a message underneath it to somebody. The other day, for example, the most gifted player in the NBA comment from LeBron, that's cute. That really wasn't about Kyrie. That was just like a rebuke of Rob Pelinka for not getting him.
Ooh.
And I just want to remind you that I'm mad that you didn't do your job. So I'm going to say Kyrie is the most gifted player in the NBA, and I love Kyrie, but really, I'm throwing some shade at you too. Anyway, I digress. Dan Hurley.
That is a very manipulative statement that you are accusing the king, LeBron James, of.
Okay, what king is not what king is not manipulative? What king is just all above board? All kings have some and queens have some manipulation in them.
Hey, watch it.
LeBron James is no different. But I wonder what targeting Dan Hurley means. Is that a LeBron thing? Is that a Jenny Buss thing? Did they surprise him with this? Is JJ now? Is the honeymoon over before the wedding even happened? I'm just trying to understand this, Vinny. Dan Hurley, look, great coach, did a great job at UConn, and I can understand why the Lakers or anybody else would want him. He's an excellent coach and be a fit in the NBA because he's pretty much been in the G League at UConn. So why not just push up to the NBA. But what do you make of this news?
I think this is one of those interesting ones. Has so many different, shall we say, tentacles to it. This is what I will go with, at least for the moment. Have the Lakers decided that they are going to buck the trend of almost 45 years of only respecting two coaches, and barely two at that, Pat Riley and Phil Jackson, right? Those were the only two coaches in the Buss family era of owning this team that they've honestly respected. Everybody else has kind of been, yeah, you can go, we'll fire you. You win a championship, you can go too, right? All right, cool. If you are going to go after and court and hire Hurley, you're going to have to pay him commensurate to the going rate of coaches in the NBA, which the Lakers traditionally do not like doing. The Lakers also are not a franchise that respects or thinks that the head coach is important at all. So if you're going this route, you are saying, A, you are going to be fit to coach a LeBron James in the twilight of his career and an Anthony Davis that is right at the peak of his prime, which means he ain't going to get no better. He ain't going to get no healthier, and he's not going to improve. Are you making a decision for now and for the future and giving this coach, this decorated coach, a two-time national champion who could be very well going for 3, are you giving him the stability that comes with coaching an older team and also the stability that will come with coaching a younger team as you start an inevitable rebuild? That's the question that I have. If that is the question, A, does that mean you are sort of breaking away the umbilical cord to LeBron James Sr.? Is that what you are doing? I'm very curious about that, right? Because LeBron is going out of his way to make sure to tell people, hey, don't make this decision because of me. I'm not involved in this head coaching search, blah, blah. LeBron is like his own search firm. Those search firms that teams pay $1 million to, that a team, the search firm will ask the team, who do you want to hire? They'll say player X or person X. And the search firm will go and vet person X and go vet like 10 other people and then say, you should hire person X. See how easy that works? Like that's the LeBron James search firm, right? Except there's no title to it. It's called Clutch, right? So this one could very well.
With a K. Clutch with a K.
Right. Clutch with a K. There you go. Clutch with a K. Now, does this mean that they are breaking away the dependency of LeBron James? I will say this, as we make fun and everything else. LeBron has given this franchise a sense of direction that they did not have for a very long time. Even if you let Clutch in the building and you get Clutch clients and you get LeBron James influence, I don't know what else they've done over the past decade that has illustrated that Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, and all those decision makers actually know what they're doing. So this could be the first independent decision that illustrates, hey, maybe we have a sense of direction. Maybe we know where we want to go organizationally. Maybe we know what it looks like. But 40 years of the Buss family running this organization, I'll believe it when the ink is dry.
Wow. Well, but you said it in a very interesting way. You're talking about LeBron James and the Lakers and cutting the umbilical cord and just, hey, okay, now they're independent of one another. LeBron James is doing his thing. The Lakers are doing their thing. And yes, they're part of the same family. But, as we know, sometimes family members make different decisions in the same family, make different decisions. So it's smart if the Lakers are doing that. If that's what the Lakers are doing, I applaud that. That's smart. And I know if you're just thinking about today, somebody would say that's dangerous. So you're going to make LeBron mad. Hey, LeBron, you can't do things that LeBron doesn't fully endorse or it wasn't his idea. Sometimes, it's their idea, it's your idea, but you got to make him feel like it's his idea. I don't think this is one of those. He would not say, hey, go get Dan Hurley. So even though right now, that's not a win now hire, Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley is a best for the long-term health of the organization, knows the next 3-4 draft classes, if not more, 5 draft classes coming into the NBA, is equipped to coach people, is equipped to make changes quickly because Yeah, that first championship team at UConn is not the same as the second championship team at UConn. You gotta, in college basketball today, you gotta be able to adapt. You gotta recruit your own players. You gotta get those guys to stay. Who's in the transfer portal? Who would fit for our team? Okay, gotta bring them in from the transfer portal and then incorporate them into what we're doing and see if we can do it. It's nonstop. That would be smart. But you gotta start doing it, Vinny. LeBron is gonna be 40. LeBron's gonna be 40 years old. So in December, I mean, how long? I know he's ageless, seemingly.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
Right. Yeah. Your sarcasm is the same as mine. He's ageless when he's out there. But the fact that he's not out there all the time tells you that he's not ageless. You know, there are some bruises and some injuries that he just can't recover that quickly from because of his age. And so the Lakers can't make all their decisions based on LeBron James. This is smart. I'm just surprised that they're doing it so early. I'm surprised they're doing it right now. I thought that JJ Redick, I thought Redick and the podcast were coming to LA.
It could be still.
We can't stop the podcast. We can't stop the podcast, right? Podcast got to come. He coaching. He can't stop the podcast, right?
I mean, who said what are the rules? There are no rules.
There are no rules.
This new endeavor. My question is this: are we sure Dan Hurley is made for 82 games of the NBA? With the way that he runs so hot and he is fiery and all that, he's one of those dudes who will burn himself out quickly if he carries the same demeanor into the NBA that he has in college. But I think he's smart enough to understand I can't kick it that way all the time. I think he's smart enough to realize Rick Pitino is one of the greatest college coaches of all time. And when he left Kentucky for your Boston Celtics, it took him about 3 years before he was like, Bird and McHale ain't walking through that door. Robert Parrish ain't walking through that door.
It wasn't even 3 years. Dog,
it wasn't even 3 years?
It wasn't even 3 years. I knew it wasn't going to work in like the first couple of months.
When he traded Chauncey Billups, his number one draft pick?
That's the rookie year. That's 50 games in the Billups' rookie year. I knew it wasn't going to work before that, and so did Chauncey. I talked to him about it. Chauncey did too. All the guys knew. They knew the year before. Now, that statute of limitations is up. Antoine Walker, as a rookie, and so his rookie year at the Celtics, his coach was M.L. Carr. Pitino was still at Kentucky. So the rumors started coming out. I said, hey, Antoine, your college coach go be here. He's like, I don't want that, and you don't either. He said, I don't want it. You don't want that here. That will be a disaster. He told me, he was like, it's going to be a disaster. You don't want him here. He said, I love Coach, but I don't want him here. And you don't want him here. It's just too much. So fast forward to the first training camp. They'd signed, remember this name, here's a blast from the past. They'd signed Chris Mills. Remember Chris Mills from Arizona? Little forward.
Yes.
So they signed Chris Mills. He had played with Cleveland. And then he was a free agent. Celtics signed him in training camp. A week into training camp, they're doing all this, the Pitino manic thing, all the sprints he would do. And Pitino was standing on the sidelines, and he'd stomp his feet, and he'd go, white, white, white. And that was one of their presses. Then he'd go, black, black, black. Not to make it about race, but that was one of their presses too. So black and white. And he'd stand there, and he'd stomp his feet, and the players would be running all over the place. And then he'd go, sprint, sprint. He'd do that the entire game. So a week into training camp, Chris Mills just signed, says, Coach, as a veteran in the league, I'm just going to tell you, I just don't think this is sustainable for an entire season. Veteran guys like me, doing all this running before the games even start. He was like, oh, you don't like it? He's like, no, Coach, I don't. All right. So he traded him. He just signed him. He traded him like a few weeks later. He could not handle it. And so he's the college coach that NBA coaches have in mind. He's a caricature.
Right.
The NBA coaches have in mind of these college guys don't get it. Because he was just not white. Like a loss in November just to get, a scheduled loss in some ways would just drive him crazy. He'd be in the locker room throwing stuff, yelling at guys, trying to put guys on a curfew, NBA players. It's just like, so I don't think Dan Hurley will be that, but he is wired in that way where every possession matters, and he's like right there on the edge of his seat. You can't,
living and dying.
That's not the league. You can't do that. That's not going to work. But if he can tone that down a bit, I do like him as a coach, Vinny. I like him a lot.
I think he's an excellent basketball mind. I think he's an excellent and I think it says more about the current state of college athletics in this brave new world that we're entering, the world of NIL, the world of super conferences, or, you know what I mean, like that sort of thing, that the national champion in football, Mr. Jim Harbaugh, he got up out of there, and now you got a two-time national champion. Don't shake your head. Don't roll your eyes. Jim Harbaugh is a national champion. He will be respected as such. The final score between Michigan and Ohio State the last 3 years.
You don't know
117
it. You don't know it. It's not behind you. It's not behind you anymore.
117-74.
I know. I don't believe it.
117-74.
It's the best background I've ever seen. It's the best background you've had in a long time here on Brother from Another. Thank you. Thank you for changing it up a little bit.
I'm sure Gary Carter can pull up that sound.
That other background. That other background is trash.
It's okay.
Straight trash.
It's okay. I understand you're grieving. I totally get it. You know what else you could be grieving over because you have your Boston sensibilities? I think it was yesterday. It was like yesterday, like maybe, 35, 36 years ago. The Celtics walked off the court in the Pontiac Silverdome as the Pistons clinched the 1988 Eastern Conference Championship. Bird, McHale, Parrish, they all just walked off the floor and nobody shook hands except for Kevin McHale. And funnily enough,
Isaiah Thomas.
No congressional hearing. No congressional hearing. No penalty. No whining after the game.
No, it's different. It's different. It's different.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's different.
I'm sorry.
You know what's different.
How
you know
so?
what's different.
How so?
You know what's different. Because of, look, and I know what you're getting at. You're saying, hey, the Pistons didn't cry about it, but why did the Bulls and everybody else cry about it a few years later when the Bulls dethroned your very worthy champs in Detroit, the Pistons? They dethroned them, swept them at the crib, okay? They swept them, and the Pistons, not only did they walk off the court, they left the court early. There was still time on the clock. I still remember Jack McCloskey there in the tunnel crying. Oh, is this over? Yeah, Jack, you got 2 titles, baby. It's over, okay? The Bulls, it's the Bulls' time. They walked off the court before the time was out. They pulled their own version of Scottie Pippen. They refused to stay for the entire game. Participate. Let the clock get to 0, and then go ahead and acknowledge them.
Everybody begins to walk before the clock stop. Before the clock is actually over with. Off. It's just that there was a stoppage in play. There was a stoppage in play. There was an edge to this. There was an edge to this. That's the difference. There wasn't really. I know the Celtics and Pistons had their battles for sure. And the Celtics walked off the court before the game ended. They left poor Reggie Lewis out there to fend for himself in the very final seconds because Reggie Lewis was on the floor. God rest his soul. What?
And we know the history between Isaiah and MJ. That's still the war in the war. That war is still going on, Isaiah and MJ. So it was a lot. There was a lot there. And whatever happened, and you know what? This and not we're gonna go all the way back to 1990 or 1991. Not to go all the way back there, but before we come to the present in these NBA finals, why doesn't Joe Dumars get criticized for walking off the court? Because I remember Isaiah used to criticize Dumars for being cool with Jordan. He was like, "Oh, you cool with Jordan? That's taking away your focus." So if Jordan and Dumars were boys, why Dumars walk off? Why didn't he just?
Joe shook Mike's hand.
Did
he? Yeah, because the crazy thing is that's the way to the locker room. You have to walk by that bench the way that the Palace was set up. You had to walk by the opposing team's bench to get to your locker room. So just logistically, that's what it was. Mike was standing right there. Joe walked by. He walked by everybody else. He walked by Phil Jackson, walked by Scotty, the rest of them. And he walked up to Mike. shook his hand, good luck in the finals, kept it moving.
All right. So, yeah. I miss that NBA. I miss that NBA.
No, y'all don't. Y'all don't miss that NBA because y'all penalize people. No, you don't.
I do. I'm going to tell you why I miss it. I miss it because NBA Finals tonight, that's why you're in Boston, the great city of Boston. You got the Celtics and the Mavericks and former Celtic Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie Irving coming back to Boston, and you're waiting for some kind of edge. But Kyrie, I'm grateful for Boston. You are. Jason Tatum, I enjoyed my time with Kai. Oh, you did? Kai. Jaylen Brown, that's my brother. We have better, all the things that he's been through. All the things that he's been through? You mean all the things that he's created? He's been through things that he's created. It's not like, the universe was against Kyrie Irving and yet man versus nature. Kyrie overcame the universe. No, Kyrie did it. It was Kyrie versus Kyrie in many cases. And so it's funny. I wish there was a little bit of nastiness between the players. I wish Jason Tatum said, you know what? I got something for him. And Kyrie was like, I got something for these people here. Oh, they want to boo me? I got something for them. Show up tonight. Bring your popcorn. Now it's all so nice. It's all so pleasant.
Are we sure we can handle competitive chatter? Are we sure that in competition we can handle all of that? Because if the last few days, if the last week or so is any indication, we as the media cannot handle outside things away from competition. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Right?
I love it.
Now, I will tell you this. I found this funny. Jaylen Brown had his media day press conference yesterday, sitting in the bowels of the Boston Garden or whatever the hell it's called nowadays, right?
TD Garden. But it's the Garden. Call it Boston Garden. I like the way you call it Boston Garden. It's Boston Garden.
Right. And someone asked him about the criticism that he and Jason Tatum have received over the years as a duo, playing for the Celtics, not having delivered. And you know what he said? He said there's a proverb, there's a quote that's one of my favorite quotes. He said, a child that does not feel the warmth of the village will feel the heat when he burns it down. He couldn't get the exact quote out, right? Mm-hmm. But he was, and someone tried to say a village, the village is raised by, the kids raised by a village. He's like, no, not that one. He's like, no, not that one. He was, and I kind of said, you mean the one that burns it down? He was like, yeah, that one. And I was like, so it may not be Tatum and Brown versus Kyrie Irving. It's Tatum and Brown versus everybody. It may be Tatum and Brown versus Boston by the end of this, because they feel the pressure. They feel the criticism. They feel the heat of it. And baby, let me tell you, can you imagine a world where the Celtics have this charmed life getting to the NBA Finals, right? They played beat up teams. They've avoided teams. They've swept teams. They're 12-2 and getting to the finals. Can you imagine having a full, clean bill of health and then you lose to a fifth seed?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, it is, you said it. The road really has been designed by a longtime Celtics fan, it seems like. It seems like that bar that you were watching last night, it seemed like 30 people got into a bar, had some drinks, and started saying, okay, how are we going to design this so the Celtics can get to the NBA Finals with the least amount of resistance? So first round, Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler. Second round, Cleveland Cavaliers, 2 games without Donovan Mitchell. So best player out round 1, best player out round 2. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do it in round 3. The hell you can't. The Indiana Pacers, 2 games without their best player, Tyrese Halliburton. Now, that's the good part. The difficult part, even against that lesser competition, Benny, is that they have not lost a road game yet. So, hey, there's something to be said for that, even if you're playing the Pacers and the Cavaliers without Mitchell and the Heat without Jimmy Butler. If you can go on the road and handle your business, okay, you're on to something. And they showed clutch moments against the Pacers. Okay, that's an asterisk there. I look at them and say, hey, if you take care of home court, you don't have to envision that scenario that Vinny Goodwill just brought up. If you take care of home court in the Boston Garden, get that TD out of here. If you take care of home court on Thursday and Sunday, not only are you going to win the championship, you're going to win the championship quickly. You're going to win the championship in 5 because you will, based on what you have shown, you will go to Dallas and you will win at least a game. You're not going to go to Dallas and lose 2 games based on what you've done on the road so far. That's not going to happen.
Are you predicting? No. I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you.
Yes,
I'm going to ask for permission from Gary Carter to treat you like a hostile witness. May I approach the bench?
Come on, Cletus. Come on.
Are you Michael Holley? Michael Sebastian
Scott
Holley?
Scott.
Oh, Scott, my bad. I called you Sebastian. I thought it was
Michael
an S,
Scott.
but I wasn't really sure what the S stood for.
Like the office, Michael Scott.
There we go.
Yes.
So Michael Scott Aloysius Holley III.
The first, but go ahead.
Are you telling me, are you putting your hand on the Bible and you are telling me that the Boston Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals in 5 games? Are you telling me that you are predicting that the only game that they will lose will be in Dallas because they're just going to lose a game? You're telling me, without a shadow of a doubt, that the Celtics, who have been a completely unserious playoff team until the last 2 minutes of games against inferior competition, who may not have the 2 best clutch players on the floor at any given night, that they are going to put it together against a team in Dallas that has been forged by fire, that has beat 3 levels of championship contending teams to get here at full strength, that you mean to tell me that the Celtics are going to cakewalk?
I don't think either one of them has beaten the champion. Let me just dial that back. You know, there's seeds. As Coach Reddick told a radio host in Boston, there's the regular season. There's a regular season.
I heard that interview. JJ Reddick in a Boston interview. I bet there was all types of elitism going there.
Vinny, you don't even know that. So well said. Exactly. Precisely. That's exactly what happened. At one point, JJ tells the host, you know, and his tone too, in that Duke tone, you know, that's an asinine way to look at basketball. Like, hey man, hey, you can't, like, can you imagine somebody in Detroit, you just talking in Detroit, and somebody says, you know, that's an asinine way of looking at basketball. First you say, where are you from? You ain't from here. And then secondly, you say, who are you talking to?
That's the first one. First one is who you talking to. I'll be looking around like
who the hell are you talking to?
I got a twin over my shoulder or something like that. Yeah, you ain't talking to me.
You ain't talking to me. Yeah, no, you ain't talking to me like that. Anyway, so Coach Reddick, he did say when he got the asinine part out, he said there's regular season basketball and there's playoff basketball. So I agree with him. Oklahoma City ain't a championship team yet. They will be one day. They ain't. Minnesota, not a championship team. They will be one day. And the Clippers. Anyway, so the Celtics played the Heat. They ain't won a championship. Heat culture. I see you. I feel you, but not a champion. Cavs, Pacers. So they're both equal in that sense. I just like not only Boston's duo. We keep focusing on the duo. Let's get beyond the duos. I like Boston's talent much more than I like Dallas's talent. And I'm not saying Dallas is untalented, but if you're asking me outside of the top 2 for both teams, who would I rather have? Yes, I'll take Porzingis taken off the injury report. Yes, I'll take Drew Holiday. I'll take Derek White. I'll take Al Horford. I like what they have more than I like what Dallas has. Now, teams, you've covered many championship teams and studied many championship teams. It's not always who's got the top talent, but how do those pieces fit? I think the Celtics have both. I think the Celtics have more talented players, and those guys understand their roles, and they seem to pop up when they're needed to, do something outside of their prescribed role. Drew Holiday wasn't asked to score a lot in the regular season, but against the Pacers, he gave you a couple of 20-point games, averaged 18 for the series. Same thing with Derek White. I think the Mavericks players in those roles, especially when you get beyond P.J. Washington, if you ask them to do something beyond that, I don't think they can. I think it's a short series. I think it's a bad matchup for the Dallas Mavericks. So I'm going to give you your travel schedule. You got 2 games in Boston, Thursday and Sunday. Get ready for your I told you about your rainy weekend.
Yep.
Enjoy it. You're going to go to Dallas next week, and you're not going to return to Dallas. You're going to go back to Boston for Game 5, and then there you go. Monday, I think it's Monday the 17th. Is that Game 5? Sunday, either is it Father's Day or the day after? Or is it Monday?
No, I think Father's Day is the week after. I think Father's Day is... No, maybe you could be right. You could very well be right.
Anyway, you're done. You're done. You're going to come back to Boston, stay in some overpriced hotel, see somebody else get put to sleep at a bar, because that's just how we do it in Boston. And then you're done with the NBA Finals. Then you can worry about Cleveland? Then you can worry about Bronny.
Ain't you from Cleveland? You saying
Akron.
We.
Yeah. Hey, I have lived in Boston longer than I lived in the great state of Ohio. Love Ohio, but I lived here longer than I lived there. Facts. Anyway, hey man, my whole operation, the house that Tom Brady built here. I mean, Tom Brady built my house. So you think, what am I supposed to do? Come on, I got Boston connections. This is home. Anyway, are you telling me it's gonna be a long series?
It's gonna be a lot longer than 5 games, my friend. I think you are wholly, severely discounting the Dallas Mavericks having the best player and the best coach. And I think that counts for a lot in a playoff series, in a final series. Now, I defy you to name me an instance in modern NBA history where a team had the best coach and the best player and fell in 5 games. I'm an NBA historian.
There you go.
I can randomly name NBA MVPs every year from the year that I was born in 1984.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm from Detroit, Motown.
Okay.
That's where I'm from, baby.
When's the last time Detroit won a championship?
20 years ago.
Okay. How many games they win it in?
They won it in 5.
Did they have the best player? No.
They had the best coach.
They did not. No, they did not.
Yes, they did. Larry Brown was a better coach than Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson. No, he's not. No, he's not. You know he's not. You know he's not. No, he's not.
In that series, absolutely he was. In that series, absolutely he was.
He got outcoached. That's saying something different. So Phil Jackson's a better coach than Larry Brown. But Phil Jackson got outcoached by Larry Brown. True. Chauncey Billups is not better than Kobe Bryant. Chauncey Billups is not better than Shaquille O'Neal. But he was the finals MVP. He stepped up. He was the best in that series. It happens. It can happen. And that happened to be an upset. They weren't even seen as the better team. Now we know they were. But going into that series outside of Michigan, most people thought, okay, that's cute. That's cute. We got the Pistons and a nice little defensive team.
But that's what you guys in Boston think of Dallas. Oh, they're cute. We can cheer Luka Doncic because he reminds us of somebody we used to know. And we can boo Kyrie Irving because we hate Kyrie. You guys think that this series is tailor-made for you. You guys think that you have made off easy, that you don't have to see Denver, that you don't have to see Minnesota. Boston believes, by the way you're talking, you do not believe that the Dallas Mavericks represent clear and present danger. And I'm telling you, it's danger. I'm telling you, the best coach is Jason Kidd. I'm telling you, the best player is Luka Doncic.
Yeah. Jason Kidd is the best coach in the series. But let's talk about what that means. So Kidd didn't know what he was doing when he was coaching Brooklyn. He was a bad coach in Brooklyn. He was not a bad coach in Milwaukee, but he was not a good coach in Milwaukee. Then he became an assistant, and under Frank Vogel, by the way, worked on his game, worked on his coaching chops, and now he's a very good coach who has gotten the Mavericks to 2 Western Conference Finals in the last 3 years. Now getting them to the NBA Finals. Understands his talent. I got it, but it's not like he is just superior to Joe Mazulla and his staff. That's not happening. I mean, he's good, but this is not like, hey, I got a little man on me in the post, give me the ball. It ain't that. Joe Mazulla is good for the Celtics. I told you before. I'll give the edge to Jason Kidd, no problem. But Joe Mazulla is the right personality, a little off personality, but he's the right personality for the Celtics. You heard him yesterday, that press conference, man, what was he doing? He ain't right. Hey, for those who don't know, he's in a press conference. Somebody asked him about the bright lights and, being on this stage. It's a pretty common phrase, the lights get brighter. He goes, unless they change the light bulbs at the Garden, I think they're the same. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
And actually, the lights do change because the NBA adds some stuff to the finals. The floor does look different. You can tell when you're looking at video, like, oh, yeah, this is an NBA Finals game compared to a game in December. So while he was being a smartass, he was actually being technically wrong.
That's what he does. That's what he does. And then, so the journey, somebody asked about the journey. Well, it's not the journey ends when life ends. Oh, that took a turn. I thought we were talking about the NBA Finals. Now you're talking about your last day on earth.
Songs in the key of Joe. That's what we doing. That's what we doing out here. Songs in the key of Joe.
He's a different kind of dude, but I think his focus is probably his greatest trait, because what's the greatest weakness of the Celtics? We've all seen it. The A student who sometimes is looking out the window when the most important part of the class is happening, and then you say, how'd you find yourself in this situation? He's not that guy. He is not going to be a chat with the media guy. He is not going to be isn't this great and it's all about me. He is on task too much, but it's perfect. It's a perfect blend with these guys who are not always on task at critical moments. I'm not saying I'm not discounting the Mavericks, because Benny, if I'm 4 games away from I'll just tell you this. This is the way I look at it. If I'm 4 games away from my goal, if I'm that close, I'm not discounting anybody, because I know what I want. And if somebody's in the way, damn it, you're in the way. And I've got to take care of business. I got to get you out the way. So the Dallas Mavericks are in the way, and so I respect them. I don't think they have what Boston has. And you know what? Neither did you a month ago. What are we playing? Stop playing. You didn't think they were on the level with the Celtics a month ago or even 2 weeks ago, but now that they're in the NBA Finals, you look at them and say, ooh, wow,
on the level with the Celtics? Who are they?
Team that won in the regular season 64 games. A team in the playoffs that hasn't lost a road game. The team that has.
You know what I say to that? You know what I say to that?
An all-NBA player. They got a first-team all-NBA guy just like Dallas does.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You know what I say to that? You know what I say to all those things? Record net rating and point differential and all those different things, a gaudy regular season record. You know what I say to that?
What?
In the words of the immortal Derek Coleman on December 29th, 1994, you know what he said?
Whoop. He said,
well, whoop the damn do.
The damn do. I love that. I love that. I can't even be mad at you for pulling that Derek Coleman. You win the day. Okay? You win the day, I'm going to give you the argument. You win the argument. Whoop the damn do. I love that. That was hilarious. He was miserable. He was so talented and so miserable. But that was great. Great quote. Now, this is not a great quote. Can I talk about something that's not a great quote? And I wanted to bring this up because we also mentioned this on Tuesday with Natalie Esquire. What a name, Natalie Esquire. We were talking about the WNBA, and Natalie made the point that some people just ain't paying attention to the league. Some people are just not watching the league closely. Now, we thought we were talking about media members. We thought we were talking about fans. But apparently, some coaches in the NCAA have not paid attention to what the WNBA is. And apparently, this coach hadn't even paid attention to his own players, their comments and their actions. Here's Geno Auriemma talking about Caitlin Clark being targeted in the WNBA. Check this out.
Every rookie has to go through the growing pains of being a professional basketball player. Mm-hmm. And the more you get, the more attention you get. And today's world, attention is number one. And attention brings money. So is she facing the rookie challenge, the rookie hardships that are inherent with being a rookie? Yes. She's also being targeted. And I don't remember when Jordan came into the league, guys looking to go out and beat him up. I don't remember when Bird and Magic came into the league and elevated the NBA. I don't remember them getting targeted and getting beat up just because of who they were and the attention they were getting. You know? Hey, there were a lot of great basketball players before Jordan, Bird, and Magic came into the league. And I never heard one of them say, hey, why didn't you do this when we were playing? Because nobody felt like it. It wasn't the time. Appreciate the fact that now's the time. I get it. It's long overdue. Why are you blaming that kid? It's not her fault. Because you would trade places with her in a minute, but you are not there. You're not her. And that she's getting what she's getting.
Geno, okay, first of all, Vinny, I asked you earlier where you're from. You shouted out Michigan, Detroit.
I said Detroit. There's a difference between Detroit and Michigan, baby.
All
Detroit,
right, that's right. That's right. You ain't from Saginaw. You ain't from Battle Creek. Okay, you ain't from the Upper Peninsula. Okay, I got you. Where did the Jordan rules start? Who started the Jordan rules?
A gentleman by the name of Charles Jerome Daly.
Okay. Yeah.
Detroit.
Michael Jordan did get his ass kicked. So much so that he started lifting weights with Scotty. There's video about it. I think there may even be a documentary that everybody watched during COVID about, like, yes, there were Jordan rules. There were Jordan rules with Bird and Magic. Of course, with every rookie, not only will the rookies have to go through a little testing, but yes, the rookies will also be pushed around even if they're good for business. Like that happens. So don't tell me that.
You know what I wondered? You know what I wondered about that clip?
You wonder if he watches basketball?
No. It's a little more simpler than that. If Gary, one of the producers, can pull it up, there looked to be something to the left of Geno Auriemma's shoulder. I don't know if you saw it. It looked like apple juice. It was a drink in a glass, and it was a color. You know what I mean? It wasn't quite whiskey. So maybe it was apple. Maybe it was apple juice. Like it's probably in the place of that logo. If you can see it a little bit behind, it's like a glass. Yeah,
there's a glass. I see it.
You see it?
Oh yeah.
It's a beverage, inside of that beverage is probably a little alcohol.
It's some good stuff.
Alcohol tends. I'm not a beer man. You know what I mean? Like that might be a Two Americas thing. I'm not a beer man, right?
Me either. I'm with
alcohol tends to cloud your judgment. Alcohol tends to give you a little bit of confirmation bias. Now, I may have been born yesterday, Smokey, right? But I saw the best player in the WNBA, Asia Wilson, yesterday get beat up. Got hit in the face, got hit in the nose, got one of her contact lenses knocked out.
You know why? You know why, Vinny? Because she's being targeted. Stop that.
And she gave you 35, 15, and 5. I think it was 35, 15, maybe it was 35, 10, and 5, and that was the first 35, 10, and 5 game in the W. Okay, there it was. Okay, there we go. Like,
look at
first
that.
numbers
and
of its
steals.
kind.
6 steals.
The 6 steals. The 6 steals. There we go. 35, 10, and 5. I knew, yeah, there we go. So the physical play, it happens. That's a very physical league, mind you. Right?
There it is.
All the way around. It's a physical league.
That's the issue. That's the issue. That is part of it. It is a physical league. And so I just wonder, what this is about. This is about so many things, and we wouldn't be able to just get into all the layers of this conversation. But because there are many rooms that we could break off into.
Yes.
There's a gender room.
Yes.
There's a race room. There's a celebrity and attention and endorsements and marketing and why this and not that, why her and not me. Like, there's so many different rooms that we can go off into. But I want to start with or just stay with the basketball part of it. Why is it hard to understand that women can be physical? That women can be physical. This is a physical league. And I'll take it a step further. Where the NBA has gone away from its physical roots, especially, like I say, its physical heyday. Let me call it that. Physical heyday, 80s, 90s. Physical heyday, rules change, hand checks come out of the game is opened up, scoring is up. It's more finesse. And if you want to be physical, you can, but they'll call flagrants much more readily, much more easily than they did back in the day. So the NBA has gone to a more finesse route. The WNBA has not. And I think that's got to be acknowledged. The WNBA is not that. It is not for, as Sade said, this is not the place for sensitive hearts. Come on, you got to come with it. If you're not ready to come with it, you're going to get put on the ground. Listen to Breanna Stewart, who played where? At UConn. She played at UConn for Geno. Geno, please, you don't want to listen to me. Listen to your former great player, champion Breanna Stewart, who says this about the WNBA.
It's only Tuesday, but there's been a lot of talk in this young week online and on television about physicality in this league. Obviously, there were 39 personal fouls this evening. I guess I'm just curious what your message is to newer fans who might not seem to understand that physicality in this league isn't new.
Yeah, I mean, really, to anybody, this is the best league in the world, and nobody's going to give you anything easy. And understanding that and learning how to play through it, at this level. They're the fastest, the strongest, the quickest, and that's why this is the WNBA. So continue to kind of pay attention to what we do, understand that, we're trying to bring our best basketball. When we're playing against other teams, we're obviously trying to win, but knowing that as a collective, we're continuing to bring this league to a better place altogether.
Now, you noticed the little drink with Geno before. Did you notice as the question was being asked, Breanna Stewart had that look on her face like, do I have to tell him again?
Here we go again.
Do I have to tell them again? Like, this is what we do. And so the physicality of basketball, that's what it is. Look at them as athletes. Do not look at them as your little sister. Don't look at them as your wife. Your little sister can't play like this. Your wife can't play like this. These are professional athletes, okay? They're tough, they're strong, they're disciplined, they train, they're pros. Stop that. Stop with your sexism. Stop with your coddling. Stop with your infantilizing. These are pro basketball players. So if we can look at what's happening on the court and not take it off the court, we'll be in a better place, because That's where the targeting happened, unfortunately, to Chennedy Carter. Chennedy Carter, 5'9", 143, okay, went at Caitlin Clark, 6'1", more than 143 pounds, gave her a hip check that was exaggerated. As you pointed out, it was a flop. Certainly, look at it again, it's a flop. Anyway, Chennedy Carter is now the villain. So much so that somebody went to the Chicago Sky Hotel to confront Chennedy Carter over what she did to Caitlin Clark. That's targeting. That's ridiculous. That's outrageous. That's dangerous. That's the issue. Unfortunately, as a lot of the Chicago
That's
Sky
dangerous
players,
for the person with the camera in his hand, to be perfectly
Yeah,
honest.
that's right.
I don't know if I would run up on Chennedy Carter in the streets.
Right.
You know what I mean? That don't seem
right.
like the smartest thing to do. And I say that with all due respect. You just don't run up on somebody. Like, I'm from Detroit. You don't run up on people you don't know and try to confront them in open airspace. You're asking for something for which you may not be equipped to receive the appropriate response. Okay? Right?
Right.
And I think
That's right.
in so many different ways, we are all still learning. We're all still learning the proper ways to discuss this. We're all learning the proper ways to avoid the landmines of labels that have traditionally dogged women through the labor force, through, the house, through the home, all those different things. All the words are triggers. So you have to be very careful in describing it without, bringing something else on, you know what I mean? Or ascribing a different level of value. But at the core, you're absolutely right. They are athletes. They're competitors. This is what they do. This is who they are. They don't know about taking it easy. They don't know about doing anything other than what's been done to them when they get to this level. You brought up the Pistons and the Bulls, or the Jordan rules. The Pistons learned from the Celtics, and then the Pistons taught and beat up the Bulls. And you know what happened after that? The Bulls beat up on the Knicks, and they beat up on the Cavaliers, and it was passed down. It was bequeathed. It was, you're not going to take this from me. I'm not going to give this to you. You're going to have to step up your game to take this from me in terms of physicality, in terms of force, in terms of will. And I think that's what some of the things, that you're seeing. At times you're going to see frustration, but at times I think it's the stewards of the game. I think some of the new people who come in, it's going to be a shock to the system, but it's the torchbearers, the stewards of the game, like Geno Auriemma, who is decorated as a champion, not just in the NCAA game, but also on the Olympic level. He should know better, and he should be a teacher in this space more than he is an instigator.
You know what? He shouldn't be a teacher in this space. He should be a student in this space, because now there are too many of his former athletes who have
He
said
should
this.
know more so he should be able to teach, but since he's not, he's got to go to school.
Yeah. Diana Taurasi said it. Champion, veteran, 20 years. Sue Bird said it. She played for you. Now Breanna Stewart said it. She played for you. What are you missing? They ain't on campus anymore. They ain't on scholarship anymore. So before they had to listen to you. Now they're the experts. They're the experts about the WNBA, not you. You're not an expert on Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. So you need to listen to them. Anyway, I probably need to listen to you. I'm going to be listening and watching tonight. NBA Finals, Game 1. Vinny Goodwill says it ain't going to be easy. So I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to talk about it again. We're going to come back on Monday. We're going to have 2 games to talk about on Monday. And when we come back on Monday, Vinny, what's the count going to be? 1-1?
It'll be a tie series. It'll be a tie series going
1-1?
to Dallas. Please,
Okay, so
Boston, behave yourselves. I beg of you.
Dang.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
I will send you a screenshot of something I wrote that happened to get by the editors, and you will have a hearty chuckle.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of this.
You should be.
All right, my brother. Good to see you.
You too.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.